Hi there, everybody. This is my monthly overview for the month of June 2015. Now, it's in written form. It goes up on the first of the month on my pages on the New York Daily News site. So you can get there, newyorkdailynews.com/horoscope, or you can simply just get there by jenniferangel.com. Now, each month I do this report, and for the video, I just read it. Okay, so bear with me. So, when I do the weekly reports, I just look at my chart and ad lib from there. But I actually read this report out, and sometimes the spoken word is not quite the same as the written word. So, bear with me there. So let's go through it and see how it's all coming together for June. I'm calling it a month of opportunity and renewal. So it's an interesting month, and as I said, you can go along from the 1st of June and read it in the written form if you like, which of course all us air signs like to do. Earth signs like to, the air signs like to listen to it, of course. So, as the year progresses, we are faced with situations and interactions with people who support and challenge us. And at times, it is difficult to see what purpose the challenges in our life represent. But as we look back, many of us come to realize it's these very challenges that we face that force us out of our comfort zone. We are then pushed to open new doors, which allow us to close the doors behind us. It's just that sometimes we need a little gentle or maybe not so gentle push to walk through the door. Each month, the placements and interactions between the planets and luminaries tell us a story of what we can expect, a story that colors our life and provides insight to help us navigate our life. June is yet another interesting month of opportunity and renewal that offers us lessons to continue our journey of living, loving, and learning. So June commences with the moon in the sign of Sagittarius, opposite the sun in Gemini, forming a full moon on the 2nd of the month. At the same time, the moon is in a square aspect with Neptune and opposite the sun and Mars. Considering the moon is emotional energy, the sun encourages us to look at life realistically. Mars is the trigger, and Neptune would rather avoid all of the above and just go play in the Milky Way. So this first week can in some way be challenging. When emotions are difficult to look at directly and in a candid manner, it is easy to distract yourself and do everything other than have a real good look at what you need to do. And Neptune will happily help you do this, but not Mars. The energy of this assertive and sometimes aggressive planet will force you to uncover what you need to look at to enable you to transcend it and move on. And although the end result will put you in a much better place, getting there can be, let's say, a little unsettling. At the end of the first week, Venus, the planet that governs love and money, will make her move to the sign of Leo, and because of its retrograde transit, will stay here right through to early October, longer than normal. Leo's fun and generous personality, coupled with the social and loving traits of Venus, when well positioned with other planets, can literally cast a spell on everybody she touches. Now, the second week of June is power-packed. It starts off on the 8th with an opportunistic sextile between the Sun in Gemini and Jupiter in Leo, opening the airways for positive communication to take place. However, Mercury, the communication planet, is still retrograde until the 11th and will take a few days after that to settle back into its forward motion. So during this time, the energy can be somewhat confusing, which is a good time to think through your strategy and get plans in place rather than surge ahead and make decisions. On the very next day, the 12th, Neptune will enter its retrograde transit, and for a 5-month period, which will give us all a chance to do some inner self-work and clear up any messiness that we have in life and situations. And it allows us to come to terms with certain issues. So pretty good, not all bad news there. The powerful energies of the Sun and Mars do their bi-yearly meetup. both in the sign of Gemini. So plenty of competitive energy here, intellectual chat, and get up and go. This connection is on the 14th, which is perfect timing to put things into action as we are now clear of the Mercury retrograde. We are still in the shadow period, which is the time Mercury takes to get back to the degree it was in when it started its retrograde transit, which will be through to June the 27th. But in my mind, we are clear to get back to business by now, as the shadow period separating out of the transit is not as potent. At the same time, Saturn makes his re-entry into the sign of Scorpio, and this 29-degree placement is another opportunity to dig deep and clear out past emotional baggage so you can leave it behind once and for all. Week 3 with the Sun and Moon both in Gemini. This month's new moon is in the sign of Gemini and joined by Mars, all of which will provide an abundance of energy, intellectual thought to start something new. On the 21st, the Sun will enter Cancer, signifying the summer solstice, the longest and brightest day of the year, and the Sun and Moon sextile on this day, further highlighting a period of good fortune and opportunity to follow. The start of the 4th week commences with a fortunate aspect, a trine between abundant Jupiter and the planet of originality, Uranus. So forward and futuristic thinking will be the vibration of this interaction. And this is a favorable week to also take a risk on something that you feel strongly about, okay? On the 24th, action-oriented and motivational Mars makes his way move to the sign of Cancer and stays for a 6-week period. And this placement can cause us slow down to cater to the emotional and changeable energy of Cancer. So to be in the flow of the Mars energy best in this placement, it is a good idea to take a step back and get out of your own way. Look from the outside rather than get too involved in what's happening, and especially not to get mixed up in other people's dramas. The month of June finishes off with Venus in a trine with Uranus, a fortunate aspect, and with the interaction of these two, independence will be important. You can expect the unexpected, so keep your schedule flexible. This is a month of opportunity, but it is also very much a time when you can clear the clutter out of closets, mainly emotional clutter, and deal with issues once and for all so you can leave them behind, which then will make room for something or someone much better to enter your life. If you're courageous enough to walk through the next door of your life, you will never look back. Happy June 2015, everybody. I hope it is a marvelous month for all of us and something special happens to each and every one of us. Remember to look at the positive, not the negative. Life is always full of supportive and challenging aspects. And, you know, both serve us. Sometimes we just can't see it at the moment. Okay. Love and luck to you. I'm Jennifer Angel. Thanks for watching.